Alright, welcome to today's live streaming session here. Right, so right now we have price expanding away pre 9:30. Okay, so this is the 9 o'clock candle here. In such a case, what I'm looking at is these highs here. They are relatively equal, and I think that we can run for those highs. Now, personally, I think that it's going to be quite a tough session here if you're going to trade, because obviously I'm not. Why? Is because we have expansion down here. So if I'm to force myself into this situation here, my best bet would be long somewhere around here and then exit somewhere around here and here. That would be my best bet. Okay, now I've already taken a trade during London, which is why I am not going to push during the AM session. With regards to what kind of trade I took, basically I bought the lows here and then I exit off this target here. I might upload the video in the planning phase of this trade idea. Right, so the trade was pre-planned way before the entry. Right, so you'll be able to see my thought process and how I utilize ICT concepts in that particular trade. Okay, and anyways, right now let's just focus on the live stream here. Let's highlight this busy and let's take a look at what's within the BC. Okay, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute. So far there is no swing lows on the 5 minutes that I can utilize, and therefore I think the best PD rate that I can use would be the weekly opening price. And if that's the case, this should be the BC that supports the price, that is going to support the price. So let's take a look again. Let me just zoom out and see where are we on the 4 hours, because right now we are around 10 o'clock's opening price. Alright, so if I'm looking for these highs over here, I am expecting price to trade below 10 o'clock for any kind of long entries. I would not want to long above 10 o'clock's opening price, which is basically the opening price of this candle here. And because we have traded above and closed above the new week opening gap, I'm anticipating that to be utilized as support, okay, to send the price higher. So within this range here, the only PD rate that I can see very clearly would be this 1 hour BC, and within this 1 hour BC on the 15 minutes we might want to take out this low here. We have this volume imbalance as well. So I am going to anchor this wick here, and I want to see price not close below this 50% of this wick. In order to continue higher, price should not close below. So in my opinion, I think that the best entries would be within this week, because we don't really have any strong PDRAs unless we want to utilize this as inversion fair value gap. That is possible as well. Right, so the inversion fair value gap actually not bad. It lines up nicely with the weekly opening price. So I think the weekly opening price can be the entry, and then obviously the stops would have to be below this swing low here. That's quite a wide stop. Right, so let me just take a look at the risk to reward here. Right here, it's 2R. I mean, it's not too bad, but I would prefer something better like 3R, right? 3R would be the best, but right now it doesn't seem like it's possible here. Right, let me see. Yep, there is. I can't find a much better trade idea here, or a trade setup. 5. Right, let's just anchor that 10 o'clock's opening price. And right here, let's take a look at the 5 minutes. Okay. Seems like it wants to go lower for now. Right, look at this BC here, and we are above the 10 o'clock's opening price. Let's see how it plays out. If I get any closing price above this BC, then I'm most probably wrong. We have 1.5 minutes to go. High, higher high. Gonna have a breaker somewhere around here. High, higher high. This is a breaker. I'm keying off 1 minute time frame here, so don't mind me. I'm just gauging strength. Right, we're within the 1 minute CB as well. Okay. Yep, I think the weekly opening price would be a good good level to long actually. Alright, let's take a look. Let's see. I'm gonna highlight this in red. So this particular candle should not close above. If it closes above, then I'm wrong. Pretty simple here. 15 minutes. You can come back all the way up here for the volume imbalance, but I don't think so until we reach the lower levels. Let's see. AM session is going to be tough, okay, because we have expansion prior to the opening bell. Right, so we have closed below the consequent encroachment. This is very nice to see. The 1 minute respecting that 5 minutes CB here. Okay, I can enter one more here. This would be the breaker. Stop loss would be up here. Basically this swing high, but I'm putting my stops above this breaker. right? This breaker right here. This is just a short-term trade. Okay, I might reverse here. Right, so the 1 hour, we have a 1 hour BC, which is I think this low here, 1506. Low is 15. Yep, that's the low of the 1 hour BC. So I think it's gonna trade down into this level here. Right, notice how I shorted above 10 o'clock's opening price. That's very crucial here. So to me, this is like power of 3, opens, consolidates, manipulation, and then distribution on the lower time frames. But on the higher time frames, it's going to be accumulation, manipulation, and then distribution higher. That is what I'm thinking. Okay. So best case scenario, it doesn't close, it doesn't trade up above these highs anymore. That's the best case scenario, right? Once it takes out this low here, my stops will be rolled to here. Now we have this swing low. Okay, I'm still gonna wait for this low here. This shaded area is the previous 30 minutes inversion fair value gap. Supposed to be bullish now. It's supposed to act as support right now. Okay, that's for context. Right, so we have closed below this up close candle here. I'm gonna shift my stops. I'm gonna take out this order here. My stops will be shifted down here. Should not return back into this level here. Above this up close candle, I don't want to see price trade above this up close candle anymore. We have taken out this swing low as well. Personally, I would like to see speed below this swing low, like once we close below it. Using the projections, let's see how far this is. Down here. 1 to 1.5. 1.5 is down here. Right, so if it comes back up into this level here, I'm just going to take it as high resistance liquidity run, and it's going to support what I said. AM session is probably going to be tough because we have expanded prior to 9:30. Right, so personally, I don't really want to see this candle close above 10 o'clock's opening price. If it closes above 10 o'clock's opening price, we might get a deeper retracement, which is not what I want. Right, so it closed right on the 10 o'clock's opening price. I need to see speed now. Because this by itself is a down close candle, if price is able to trade above this down close candle, then we are most probably going to be in a longer form of consolidation, right? Naturally, in a bearish order flow, you want to see green up close candles to be traded through without respect, okay? So right here, how would I gauge the strength here? Would be this wick here, right? Preferably no closing prices above the consequent encroachment of this wick. And I'm gonna put 5 here. I'm gonna take 4 off here. Trade. Buy 4 right here at the weekly open. One tick above the weekly opening price. So if I see any candle closing above the consequent encroachment here, I'm going to close my position. 30 more seconds. Furthermore, it has taken out this swing low here. Right, and there we have it. I'm going to close this position because it's most likely going to retrace higher due to the fact that it has closed above the consequent encroachment here, which is not what I want to see, and it has taken out this swing low as well, and we are playing against the bias, right? So overall bias is bullish, therefore trying to short in a higher time frame bullish order flow, it's going to be naturally is going to lead to high resistance liquidity runs. So right here, price came back all the way up into that 5 minutes CB again. I think this time around it's gonna smash through, right? But I'm not gonna entertain this type of retracement. I mean, if I'm trading real accounts, okay. So what do I do with this information right now? I think I'm looking for longs, right? What's my best price for longs? Any price within the new week opening gap is good, but personally I think I'm gonna use this weekly open as my entry. So let's just see how it plays out. I'm just gonna buy one and then see how it goes. Buy one here. Right, very beautiful run here. When it takes out this low, it's gonna teleport to my entry. That's what I'm thinking. Right, so usually for high resistance liquidity runs, trailing the stops too fast can lead to stop outs before running to the final objective, right? So that is something that I can't stand, trading in meaning that kind of condition, right? I mean, look at this retracement here. I wanted to see teleportation down after taking out this swing low here, not this type of retracements. We only have 20 seconds left for this candle here. Now we have another fair value gap. So price came back right up all the way into this volume imbalance, if you can see. So during high resistance liquidity runs, I often observe that volume imbalances are always, more often than not, revisited. Revisited many times if there is no body overlaying it. That's just my observations. And so you see how long it took to get down to this level here. 1030 should be the reversal, in my opinion, basing off the 1 minute, not 1 minute, sorry, 1 hour power of 3. Okay, so now we are most likely done with this 5 minute CB here. I'm gonna remove it for clarity. Right. I mean, take a look at this retracement here. It should have already run through, because this is a 1 hour fair value gap. It's supposed to be a strong magnet. Okay, so I'm looking for at least the weekly open. We still have time. We still have around 8 more minutes to 10:30, right? Okay, so now we have traded and I'm tapped in. What I want to see right now, or not see, I'm waiting for 10:30, basically. Preferably it doesn't trade and close below this 30 minutes inversion fair value gap, preferably. Okay, if it does, then the next level that I'll be looking at would be this grading here, sorry, the midpoint of this new week opening gap. Okay, and let's see, let's highlight the 1 hour. Too many indications here. I just want the consequent encroachment. I'm gonna enter one more here. I'm gonna make this transparent because I only want the midpoint of that fair value gap, or the 1 hour fair value gap, right? So on the 5 minutes we have volume imbalance here. I think it can come down into this level. So let's see, trade buy one here. So we have, in 5 minutes we will have the 30 minutes closing price. I don't want to see closing price below this inversion fair value gap, right? It can wick through it, but on the body closing I don't really want to see it close below, and preferably it closes above the consequent encroachment, which is where my entry is, preferably. Right, let's take a look at the 1 minute here. Somewhere around a swing low, 1 minute swing low. That's the nearest swing low that I can find. Right, there's no swing lows on the 5 minutes. Right. Oops. What's this again? Oh, I think I anchored it wrongly here. It should be anchoring here. Yep, so this is the midpoint of the new week opening gap. Alright, so because we are in a higher time frame bullish order flow, I am not treating this as the market maker sell model here. Okay, it looks like it on the 1 minute, definitely, but I think it's the reverse. So we have consolidation here, second consolidation, and right around this level here, I think we're gonna have the SMT and whatnots, and then we're gonna reverse higher. Alright, so interesting enough, 30 minutes did not close below the consequent encroachment, but what we are seeing now is that, in my opinion, I think that they are going to form SMT between ES and NQ on a 1 minute time frame, or maybe even on the 5 minutes time frame. That is what I'm anticipating here. I am in no way bearish, I am bullish, okay, especially below the weekly opening price. Right now it's 10:35. Right, so if you're going to split the hours up into 15 minutes each, that will give you 4 quarters. And so right now we are in Q3. So I'm gonna see this as accumulation, and this is manipulation, and then obviously we're gonna have expansion and distribution. Right, but let's see if it wants to take out this low, because if it does, then I'll get another entry here. And preferably ES does not make a lower low on the lower time frames. But keep in mind that today is Thursday, it's pre-NFP, therefore you don't expect price to be the cleanest, okay? That's just one caveat for trading today, which is why I'm on paper trading account, okay? The price actually looks pretty good. I mean, like, it's moving, it's not like it's consolidating, but better to be safe than sorry here. Right, so I think at this level it's the 1 hour BC's midpoint here. Right, let's see if we get there. I think there's a good chance it can. So over here you can see that on the way down we have quite huge retracements. Therefore I think that when we are finally changing order flow on the lower time frames into higher prices, bullish order flow, then I think that we're gonna have a much more cleaner price action towards the upside as compared to the downside. I am also watching how price is unwilling to trade to that 50% of the new week opening gap. Right, that is interesting, and if we take out this swing high here, I think we're good to go for higher prices at this point in time. We have 20 minutes more to the closing price of 10 o'clock's 1 hour candle, and preferably I do not want to see the candle closing below 18506.5, because that is the 1 hour fair value gaps high, preferably. Okay, I do not want to see price close below. And the lowest that I can allow it to close would be any price above the consequent encroachment of that 1 hour fair value gap. If it closes below that consequent encroachment of that 1 hour fair value gap, then I think we are much likely not to see higher prices today anymore. This is just my opinion. Right, let me do a gauge to see how far are we from today's expansion here. Right. So right off the bat, we have this daily opening, fibs, swing low today. Yeah, we're way above that. And even if we use the midnight opening price from the low to the midnight open, which is right here, projections, yeah, we're trading around 2 to 2.5. So if we can close above this swing high here, that would be great. That would mean that we're going to trade to 4. Okay, that's how I gauge price from the opening price to the low. I treat that as manipulation, and the expansion should be the low hanging fruit would be 2 and 2.5. So that could be the expansion for the entire day itself, right? It doesn't have to reach -4, because that's the maximum expansion. Alright, it's 10:49. We are going to start the macro soon. We have consolidation prior to the macro, so I think macro is going to give a really nice move. Let's see how this plays out. Okay, so we are in the last quarter of the 1 hour candle on the 10 minutes. I mean, not 10 minutes, 10 a.m. 1 hour candle. Okay, we're in the last quarter, the last 15 minutes now. So price should spool to a certain direction, and I think it's going to be to the upside because I'm bullish. And even if it trades lower, taking out these sell stops, I would be more glad for it to do so because it would fill my buy limits down here, and then we're gonna go higher because I'm anticipating a possible SMT on the lows against ES before higher prices. Pretty simple here. It looks like the 1 hour is not going to close above the fair value gap, which is at 18506.5, and if that's the case, that's even better as well because the next following candle should determine whether my bias for today is correct or not. Because the next candle, if I'm correct, price should close above that busy and should start expanding higher. Alright, so actually on the 90 minutes candle here, we do have a BC. So I think it's high probability that we might want to come down here. I mean, not high probability, sorry, but there is a possibility that we might want to trade down here for the 90 minutes candle. Okay, and that would be great because I'll get my entry. And why 90 minutes? Because it's a 6 hours, right? So 6 hours divided by 2 or divided by 4, that's going to be 90 minutes. So right now we are actually in Q3 of that 6 hour, not Q3, Q4 of that 6 hour candle here. So the 6 hour candle actually starts at 6 obviously, and then ends at 12. So because we have expansion in Q2, Q3 and Q4 is most likely going to be consolidation, but since we have the retracement in Q3, I think it's possible for a Q4 continuation higher. That's what I think, and I think that's doable. Okay, now since we got the closing of the 1 hour candle within the fair value gap, I think that deeper retracements might be needed to send the price higher. Okay, on the 30 minutes as well, we have closed below the consequent encroachment of the inversion fair value gap, right? So it's either this candle expands higher or we're going to trade lower. That's about it, right? And I think just to prove my point, I'm gonna exit down here, okay, with profits here. I'm gonna exit down here and I'm going to wait for this swing low to be traded to, and that will be my total soup entry for higher prices. Alright, let's see if it happens. So let's be a little bit calculative here. We have this entry here. This is, I'm trying to snipe the low, okay? So we have one entry down here and maybe another entry down here, and I think that's about it. It should not trade below this wick in my opinion. The last defense would be this wick right here, no closing prices below the midpoint. Okay, and I think one more order right here. My stops would be 830 low. So let's stop loss right here. For me personally, on the 50 minutes, I don't really want to see closing below this first limit order area, right? So below 18483.75, I don't really want to see a 50 minutes closing below that. That's just my opinion, okay? As you can see, price is consolidating down here. You have range high, range low, maybe right here, range low and range high. So I'm waiting for that turtle soup into the range low and then higher prices. Yep, I think I'm just gonna wait. Right, this session is probably going to last until 12, and I think we get a better run during the PM session. Alright, so right here we got this fill as I have promised. But anyways, let's take a look at ES because we are anticipating SMT on the lows, right? But we don't seem to get that right here. Okay, so ES, similar to NQ, has made a low, which is not what I want to see actually, right? I'm not sure why my other two limit orders were removed, but I think it could have filled. Oh no, it did not. Okay, so anyways, I'm not sure why it was removed once this order was filled, but right now it seems like it's quite wonky still. Okay, let's take a look at this level here. Alright, so any 15 minutes closing below 18483.5, I will most likely be wrong. Right now, let's take a look at the range of this expansion from this swing low to this swing high here. Grading. Yep, we are way below discount and we are reaching into OTE range. Right. So preferably I would like to see price disrespect this CB here. This 5 minutes CB. If price can do so, I will be on site, which means I will be most likely right with my bias. But if it respects, then obviously I'm wrong, right? But don't try to take this with a high regard because it's Thursday, the day before non-farm payrolls, right? Which is why it's quite tough during the AM session, as I've mentioned here. Right, we shall see how this plays out eventually. Once we get closing price above this high, I'm going to drill my stops to break even. It has to be above this high. Alright, as anticipated, we have traded higher, closing above this 5 minutes CB. Therefore, right now I am most probably correct in my analysis here, and that we are going to have a low resistance liquidity runs to take out this high. Okay, and I'm gonna treat this as market maker buy model. Right, so as I've mentioned before, this is a range low, range high. Look for the higher time frame bias, which is longs. The total soup this low here into this total soup this low, and then higher prices. Right, so right now, once it trades above this this swing high, sorry, fair value gaps. Once it trades above this swing high, I'm going to throw my stops here to this, to break even basically. Okay, because in my opinion it should not return back into the range low anymore. Right, I'm considering this as accumulation for higher prices. At the same time, as you can see, I'm buying below the weekly open, which is crucial. I'm buying within or slightly off, but within the vicinity of this 30 minutes inversion fair value gap, and I'm buying within this 15 minutes inversion fair value gap right here as well. So this 15 minutes inversion fair value gap was the origin of this huge run lower, right? So it's a really large displacement, and origin is not this high. Okay, it's this fair value gap, because this was the fair value gap that sent the price really low, right, on 15 minutes. So I'm utilizing this as my entry model as well. Okay, so right now let's see how this goes. At this point in time, it's safe to say that I can move my stops here, so I'm going to do so. Moving my stops here, and once it trades above this high, I will move my stops to break even. Alright, so we have traded above this high. My stop goes to break even. Right now I should see price start to expand higher into this high here. On the 5 minutes we do have this down close candle, and on the 5 minutes I think I can utilize this down close candle here as proportion order block. We have traded above the swing high, so these 3 consecutive down close candles would be a bullish order block, and I'll be looking for this high here. Okay, and I think this is going to eat into the lunch hour. Right, so I'm just going to, let's see, can I look for this level here? Maybe. Let's see where are we during lunch hour. I think it's not too bad to aim for this high here. Weekly opening price right here, let's take a look. I can buy one more down here if I want to, but I'm just gonna leave it here for perfection's sake, okay? Like right here I caught the lows, I'm pretty happy with that. So for sniper entries like this, it's usually very nice because after it trades above a short-term swing high or swing low, you can basically put your stops to break even and you're at no risk at all. I think that is the best entry that you can get, and that is the best low risk trade you can have. But obviously when it tags this area and you're waiting for price to take out this swing high here, you can't really move your stops, and I think that's reasonable enough. If you're able to pick the right places, you shouldn't receive a lot of drawdowns, right? And yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it here, and I'll end the session at 11:45 if it has not traded above this CB here. Okay, so to me this CB is going to be a speed bump, but eventually I would like to see it trade above and close above it, and then utilize it as support to go higher. In the case of reversals above 50%, I want to see parabolic price action, right? Pretty simple. And with this, I will automatically close the session at 11:45. 2 more minutes.